Yeah, so welcome everyone for this webinar on data analytics or data scientist and for finance professional. We have Deepak with us. Deepak is a CA. I'm also a CA, but this domain which we're talking about is what Deepak is. Deepak is practicing data analytics. So we have Deepak, and there were a lot of questions. We have been running this program on data analytics for finance for last, I would say, for 9 months. And I personally have spoken to so many finance professionals, and this is a question which invariably comes out in the conversation. Maybe people are not very explicit about it in terms of what is data analytics or data scientist, but however, at the back of the mind, they always have this question that data analytics is a little technical. This is something which we have not done, and whether a finance professional will be able to do it. So that is what they always say. They always assume that data analytics is something which is meant for a computer engineer or coder, and that is what it is. And many of them are aware that with digitalization, with all aspects of business moving digital, with so much of data being captured everywhere, the way we used to do data analytics or understanding of data in pivot tables way back in 2005, 6 is not going to work in 2021.
Yes.
People even understand, but how it has to be done, what is the opportunity which is available, a lot of people are not aware, and hence we have this monthly webinar, which is more of an educating this fraternity, finance fraternity, about how data analytics is impacting. And in that series, we have one of the topic on data analytics or data scientists. So I think without taking further time, since we have a lot of things to cover, I will pass on the control to Deepak so that Deepak can take us through.
I think I've got all the controls placed.
Okay, great. Over to you, Deepak.
Yes. So thank you, Bridge, and perhaps we have resumed this monthly activity of going online and discussing with the people who want to basically join data science. And I'll start the conversation with a very practical example and a very real life example which I have encountered post COVID situation. So my brother-in-law has a shop here in Calcutta for firefighting equipments. Now it was a traditional shop wherein a lot of physical interaction with supplier and the customers was happening. Whatever marketing he was doing on-premise marketing, which is visiting the customer site, talking to them, showing them his product and then selling it out to them. Now after this COVID thing, everything has changed drastically. There is no physical interaction. There is no physical meeting happening because of this COVID thing. Now for 2-3 months last year, his business was impacted a lot. But that's when he decided to go online and start e-commerce kind of business. So whatever he was doing on a physical mode, he started doing online. He had his own website. He listed all his products online. He has started doing marketing using Google Analytics. Who is coming to his website? Who is looking at a particular product? Whether the person who are visiting his website, they are purchasing a product, what sort of product they are purchasing, or they are finding any trouble visiting his website, by just analyzing their movement on different web pages. So after digitization and after going online, there is massive growth of data. As it is pre-COVID era, the exponential growth of data we have witnessed in our day-to-day life. Predominantly, currently we have more than one connected devices per person. Say if you take my example itself, I have a smartphone, I have a smartwatch, and many of the people, they have Fitbits, So more than one connected devices, more than one, and now air conditions are coming with high tech artificial intelligence embedded softwares. So they are capturing a lot more data. So pre-COVID itself, we saw there is a huge data explosion that has happened, but post-COVID, things have taken a massive scale, a massive vertical trend towards increase in data and acceptance of digitization. Now, whenever you have data with you, there is huge and humongous requirement of people analyzing those data points. Now, 10 years back, if you see these words like data analytics, data scientist, these were not as prevalent in the market as they are right now. So one of the main reason why these things have grown humongously is because of increase in manifold quantum of data that we have. So with very simple example that I've taken of my brother-in-law going online, you can understand now he cannot do all this analysis on his own. So he had to hire a couple of people to analyze those data points, analyze the customer persona. So you can understand a traditional shop based out of Calcutta going online and deploying 2 data analyst guys to basically run the business. And practically they are the one who are running the business. They are the ones who are finding insights. They are the ones who are guiding him that you market like this, you project your product like this, you reach out to this segment of the customers, you reach out to this particular complex people. So they're actually running the business at the back end. So the necessity and the need for a data guys slash data girls have increased a lot. So this is with this real example, with this practical application, and the witness that I have been for this use in my family itself, we would start the journey. And but first of all, I would like you all to give me your understanding as to who are data analysts, or who are data scientists. Whatever your understanding with respect to data analyst or a data scientist, you are free to write in the chat box, and we can discuss to start with.
Okay, this is something which I really like about you, Deepak, when you do is that in the beginning, you take one chat where you say, what is your current understanding about data analytics and data scientists? And in the end of the webinar, we take again a chat, we understand whether we are able to move the needle or not. So that would show how effective we were to communicate what we wanted to communicate.
Thank you, Brij. So I'm waiting for the participants.
Yeah, so everyone who is in the participant list, if you find a chat, we are doing this webinar on Zoom
platform. Yeah.
Zoom platform, but it's also getting streamed in YouTube and Facebook. So on YouTube and Facebook. So in case you can put it in the chat box, what do you understand? What is the difference between data analytics and data scientists? And then maybe after the webinar, we will again try to take a chat and see if we have changed that understanding. So can you please put that in the chat?
I just want to understand your understanding about data analyst and a data science guy.
Right. So we are waiting for you. Please put it in the chat. I hope you are able to put it your current understanding in the chat box so that we can read it out and then we can proceed. So what is data scientist, data analyst, or data scientist?
Let me take this question myself, Brij. I guess the participants are hesitant enough to discuss. their understanding. So take a example. In any organization, you have sales department, right? And your sales head, basically head of sales in that particular organization, wants to understand. Yeah, we have answer from Ramesh comparing sales of 10 years. Yeah, I kind of. So I'll take this example. So head of the sale wants to, Shubham says data analytics means with the help of data we made reports, which is help in business. Correct. Correct. So let us take this example. The head of the sales in an organization wants you to uh, wants you to tell him or her the sales for the last say 1 year, area wise, geographic area wise. Okay. Now you go into the SAP or the ERP, any ERP which is being installed in the system, and you bring out the entire sales report. You do filtering based on date criteria. You do filtering based on geographical area, and you present the report to him in an Excel sheet. Now the head of the department looks at the Excel sheet and says this Excel sheet looks too heavy, and he doesn't like that Excel sheet. So he tells you to do something so that the report you have presented it to the head of the department becomes more presentable. Okay, more visually appealing. So what you do is you go back to your desk and you start creating reports. Yes, pivot, pie chart, graph, line diagram, to basically show those reports, the data points, numeric data points in a visual form. And this time you take that report to the head of the sales and he tells, wow. Now the person who has done all this stuff till now, in data domain, we call him or her to be a data analyst. What he has done, he has basically analyzed the data, analyzed the sales data, and presented the data in a way that it gave a meaningful insight to the head of the sales. Okay, so whoever, and this entire task that he has done is based on historical data. What he has done, he has pulled out the historical data, created some sort of visualization, and identified the pattern insights and presented it to the head of the sale. So this entire work that he has done, in data domain, we call it to be a descriptive analytics. Okay, descriptive analytics. He is basically analyzing the historical data points. Okay, now whoever is doing descriptive analytics, okay, like pulling the data, creating reports, and showing it to the presenting it. So whoever is doing this descriptive analytics thing is termed to be a data analytics guy or a girl. Okay, so this is where you have data analyst. Now the head of the cell says, fine, I am okay with what you have represented, given to me based on the historical data points. Now can you tell me, if the data or if the sale follows the same pattern, what would be my geographical sale for the upcoming 6 months or in future, right? So what is he asking you to do? He is asking you to basically predict geographical wise sale. Okay, north region, east region, west region, south region, or area state wise itself. So he's asking you to basically predict sale geography wise. Now what you will do, who will do this work? Now you as a data analyst have done your task, but the task which is coming up to you as a predictive analytics, so this we call as predictive analytics. You will try to predict what would be the sale for the next 6 months geography wise. So you need some sort of algorithms, some sort of predictive algorithms, some sort of mathematical computation calculation to derive that future sale. Okay, but now you as a data analyst is not equipped with those heavy mathematical calculations, linear algebra, statistical concepts. So that head of the sales gives this task to a person who is basically well to do in these domain. Okay, in these domain, statistical concept, mathematical computation, equation. So the person who will do this task of predictive analytics is a data scientist guy. Why scientist? Because what the scientists do? Because they do a lot of permutation, combination, a lot of probabilities, a lot of trial and error to come up with a solution. So similarly, the data scientist guy would use these variables to lot of combination of these variables, correlation, causation, and come up with a model which will basically predict the sale in the for the future. So he is the one who is called or termed to be a data scientist guy. Okay, so in large organization like Facebook, you have a clear demarcation between who is a data analyst and who is a data scientist. Company like Google, they have thousands and thousands of data analysts who are basically analyzing only the traffic on Google, only the traffic on the website. Okay. Whereas there are people, data scientist people who are trying to predict at what point of time there would be heavy load on my server, on Google server, so that predictive maintenance can be taken care of. So in big corporations, you have FANG companies, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, and I guess it's N for Netflix and G for Google, if I'm not wrong. So these FANG companies, they have a clear demarcation between data analyst guy and a data scientist. But a small organization, like you can say my brother-in-law's shop, he will not have that demarcation. So if he hires someone on the role of data scientist, he would basically ask him to do both the tasks of a data analyst and a data scientist. But it is very important for you guys to understand the demarcation between data analyst and a data scientist, because that's how you are going to basically choose the career that you will take. Okay, so this was a small, I will not say small, I took almost 20 minutes for this. This is actually a clear demarcation between a data analyst and a data scientist guy. Data analyst guy who basically works on historical data, find insights, find patterns, and presents the data to the consumer of those data points. Whereas data scientist is someone who works more on predictive model, more on ML algorithms, machine learning algorithms part. Okay, so this is a clear demarcation. In the subsequent slides, what I have done is I have basically given whatever I have discussed. I have put this in a way of presentation, and let us go through each PPT and try to understand more. And this is very much important, guys, because that's where if your interest, now at the end of this section, I'll give you some tips which will basically tell what if your interest is this, you should go as a data analyst. If your interest is that, you should go as a data scientist. Okay, so the first is the definition we have understood. It's data analyst is basically analyzing the data that you have, okay, and basically presenting the analysis report. And data scientist is someone who is basically understanding the data for the purpose of research. Research is here, it says predictive analytics computation. Okay, so this is the differentiation in terms of definition of these two people. Now, in terms of skill, what is necessary for data analyst? Uh, Data visualization is of umptim or prime importance in case of data analyst. And you said here is it statistical approaches. Now, statistical approach does not mean what you can say heavy statistical concepts, but a basic concepts that we have understood and we have learned in class 10, 11, and 12. What is mean, what is median, what is mode, whether your data is skewed, what do you mean by outliers. So these are some of the concepts you need to understand. What is quartile, interquartile range, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. So these are basic concepts that we have already learned in our uh, uh, a +2 or a grad level education. So that's enough for being a data analyst guy. But for data scientists, you need deep statistical technique, mathematical techniques to come with that predictive algorithm. Okay, you have something called linear regression, by way of which you basically predict the future, predict the future data points. You have logistic regression, you have decision tree. Some point or the other, we would have learnt about decision tree. Okay, but we have not applied that because in our finance area, we seldom come across a situation when we need to apply this linear regression concepts and decision tree concepts. In our CA or in our +2 level, you would have learned these concepts, but that was only limited to that. But when you are working as a data scientist, you need to have a thorough knowledge about those linear regression equations, decision tree working. Okay, so that skills, in terms of skills, you need to have a thorough understanding about in-depth statistical concepts. Okay, but for a data analyst, a basic understanding of +2 level of statistics is more than enough. Okay, moving on to the next slides, we have fields, and for the data analyst, what it does is basically analyze the data for decision, whereas data scientist, what it does is basically creates model to understand the pattern and based on the pattern to predict the future. Usage, data analysts use predominantly data visualization, whereas data scientists, because he has to deal with mathematical equations, statistical equations, he has to fall back on programming. Now, as a data scientist, I know the concepts of linear regression, but do I have to manually do this on a pen and paper? No. You have programming languages like Python, who basically does the task for you. You just need to apply that algorithm on your data set, and you should be able to interpret the results. Whatever results is coming to you in front of you, you must be able to interpret those results. If you are able to interpret those results, that's enough for you to become a data scientist. Okay, you need not manually go in your a pen and paper and start doing linear regression equation. That will be done by Python. Okay, so you need to understand the algorithm, how it works, and would be able to interpret the result. That is more important. Industry again, solve analysis with the help of data visualization, and data scientist is someone who basically solve complex data structure problem, which is nothing but understanding historical data and creating algorithm for the future. Now this diagram basically talks about skill requirement. Okay, there are three areas which are demarcated here: data analyst, data scientist, and a data engineer. For the time being, we will not touch upon data engineer because that is out of our syllabus for this webinar. So we'll concentrate on orange and the blue one. Okay. Now look at the skill level for programming. Now when it comes to programming, you see the data analyst and data scientists are equal in terms of programming. Now, many people will say that, if I am a data analyst, I need not learn programming. Okay, I need not learn programming. I have Excel, I have various BI tools such as Tableau, such as Power BI, such as Click, which will do tasks for me. They will do data visualization and everything. But remember, guys, data analyst is not only about data visualization. So data visualization is just 20% of the task of a data analyst. 80% is basically preparing the data, data wrangling, creating data structure. Okay, and that can be done only with the help of programming languages and not tools. So there you need to understand the difference between programming languages and tools. Programming languages are ones where you write programs on your own hand, and that program will basically execute and do the work for you. Whereas tools are something which has the functionality of drag and drop. When you go in Tableau, you can drag and drop, and backend you have algorithms which will do the task for you. But try to understand those algorithms have limitations. They are standard algorithms. What if you have to do an analysis for which that algorithm is not built in Tableau? Okay, so that point of time you have to fall back on programming languages. And that is precisely why most of the business intelligence tools like Tableau, like Power BI, they have integration with Python programming language and other programming languages. So if you want to become a data analyst or a data scientist, you need to have a thorough understanding of programming language. There is no denying the fact that you would be requiring these programming languages. If someone tells you that you would be good if you learn Tableau, okay, and you will survive in this data analyst domain, they are basically lying it to you. So hard fact, chew the fact that you would be needing the knowledge of programming language. So in terms of programming language, data analyst and data scientist they are at par. But when it comes to machine learning, which is basically by way of which we predict, you see, a skill level is very high for data scientists and not that high for data analyst, because data analyst precise work is basically working on historical data points and finding insights. Whereas data scientists, you need to predict the future, for which the concepts, the application of machine learning is very much required. But flip the side, you see, for communication and visualization, the requirement of data analyst is, skill level for data analyst is high compared to data scientist, because the prime objective of a data analyst is basically to wrangle the data and communicate and visualize the data. Okay, that is why the skill level is high compared to data scientists when it comes to communication and visualization. Again, come to maths and stats. Data scientists, guys, they are maths and stats heavy. Okay, but let me not frighten you when I say maths and statistics heavy. It should not hinder you or prevent you from learning this data scientist task. Myself, I was not that great in statistics and maths in my +2 level and graduation level. In fact, when I got into class 11, I flunked in the first terminal examination for mathematics. I got, if I'm not wrong, 36 or 37 out of 100. So when I say maths heavy, yes, it's maths heavy, but you should not be afraid of it, because programming languages are there to do your task. You just have to understand what goes behind the curtain. Okay, so in terms of maths and statistics, obviously the data scientist guy need to have a thorough understanding of it compared to data analyst guys. Okay, and best practices, they are both same. Product knowledge is again same. Data exploration, when I talk about data exploration, is I'm talking about data cleaning, data wrangling, data preparation. So in both the cases, either you are whether you are doing a data analyst task or a data scientist task, data exploration, data preparation is important in both these cases. So we have same level of skills required for these two areas. So this was a breakup of skills that you would require. Okay. Now coming
Deepak,
to, yeah.
Deepak, once you go to the slide, the previous one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a beautiful slide which actually sums up the what is required and where we are. I think I will just, although you have dwelled upon everything that communication visualization for the orange one is extremely important, but since we are all from finance background, out of orange, blue, and green, we will normally a finance guy will fall into an orange category. Is that what
Correct.
we're saying?
Correct.
Where programming, understanding of programming language is required, machine learning understanding is required, but however the most important skill is data exploration and communication skill. These are the two skills which predominantly would be the key strength.
Correct, Bridge.
Right, and data exploration are CAs are very good at data exploration because that is what they've been doing. All the CAs or finance people, because that's, I mean, sitting with spreadsheet for 8 hours is a unique skill which only maybe a finance guys can do. However, I think on communication there are what my experience is, normally finance people are that is one area where they always we always lag compared to maybe other streams. So there are always exceptions, but that is some I always see that this is a challenge area where, particularly if you're doing data analysis, you have to communicate those insights in a language which is lucid, easy to understand. At the same time, you cannot throw jargon at management because, so that is something, these are the two important skill sets. So I think finance people have an advantage on data exploration, but communication and programming is something which they need to improve if they need to excel in this field.
Correct.
Yeah.
So finance people, we are very good in terms of number crunching and coming out with insights, but in terms of how to demonstrate the outcome and the hidden insights from the data is where we need to sharpen our skills.
True. Yeah.
Now moving on to the next area. So in terms of mathematics, as I spoke, data analyst, you have foundational maths, you have foundational statistics, but for data scientists, you need to have advanced statistics and predictive analytics capabilities with you. Okay. In terms of programming language, a fluency in terms of R, Python, and SQL is basically required, and SQL is something from with the respect of data wrangling and data preparation. And out of R and Python, currently Python is basically ruling this domain of data analytics, if I say data analyst or data scientist domain. So Python is a very popular programming language, and it's hot in the market as compared to other programming languages. And if you would know, Bridge, the founder of Python have joined Microsoft. So there are huge things coming up with respect to Python and Microsoft collaboration. When it comes to data scientist, you need to have an understanding about object-oriented programming, which is nothing but Python. Okay, so Python is basically an object-oriented program, and that is why if you are trying to go into a data analyst field, it's highly recommendable that you learn Python, because after a data analyst, the next step is data scientist. So if you have Python programming language understanding in your kitty, you can easily switch to data scientist ladder. Next, we come to software and tools.
I think, sorry, Deepa, I just want to highlight here, and I think this is an area where also when I speak to a lot of people who want to understand about data science, they also they have a lot of apprehension about programming languages. For example, particularly when I say them that Python, R, and Tableau is what we are going to cover, because then there is a lot of resistance. So I don't know how the learning path is going to be. I don't know ABC of all these things. Will it be possible for me to go and actually learn it? And then I think if I look at the previous slide which you had, where you said that the knowledge in programming language has to be at a level. It's not that we expect you to be very proficient in that, but something you need to have a working knowledge and understanding about how this works. So that is, and in our program, when we have created, that is a distinction which we have tried to do from other programs, where other programs maybe there are 300 hours long program. where they go as if they are teaching to engineers. Yeah, where they go into in a lot of areas of R, Python, SQL, all kind of joins, inner join, outer join, etc., etc., etc. However, in our course, what we have tried to do is so basically they train predominantly market the current courses in the market. They actually train you for data scientists. However, I think what we are trying to do is we have created the course of data analyst, where we have covered everything, but at the same time we have not covered for 400 hours. We have covered something which people can easily manage, and this can become the first step in their journey to become a data scientist or enter into this profession. Otherwise, if you make the gate very bigger, like what you say, our Buland Darwaja, it is so bigger that you feel that you will never enter, you will never be able to enter it, and that is what the common perception. So if we have just tried to make it a little smaller so that this can be the first step, and then depending upon which areas you're working, you can actually explore and move to bigger doors.
Correct. So, Brij, I'll try to highlight here my own experience. So, when I started my journey as into this data domain, I took a course from an institution based out of Bangalore, and I was very much thrilled to look. And that point of time, I had no knowledge about programming language, and as I said, I was not that proficient in terms of maths and statistics. So I took this course from this institute, and I mean that course I have not finished as of yet. So I took this course 4 years back, and I have not finished that course till now, and I don't intend to finish that course, because that course is predominantly built for 120 or 125 odd hours, and they are basically covering a lot of things, which at times becomes overwhelming for a fresher getting into this domain. Okay, and a lot of areas that I saw in their curriculum after I enrolled, that they are not basically useful for me as a data analyst or a data scientist guy. Okay, so so that's where you need to understand, and predominantly from a finance background, where we have very less to no exposure in terms of programming language, and leave programming language. I talk about advanced Excel. Out of 100 finance people, if I'm not wrong, 5 to 10%, less than 5 to 10% would have a good, thorough, sound understanding of advanced Excel. Okay, so that's Excel, and now here we are talking about programming language. So we have basically designed this finance, this data science curriculum / data analyst curriculum in such a way that it's lucid for finance guy who has basically no exposure into programming language, and they can be upstart and running in a fraction of a second, rather than wait for those 120-25 hours to finish and then apply those concepts in the task. So that is there. Now moving on to the software and tools.
I think just to add to Deepa what you said, I think and also this is the first thing which people ask, and other is so predominantly I think our course, if you look at, maybe we're talking about around some 25 hours of video course, and in practice I think we expect people to put around 100 hours all put together, right? To get to the basic of everything. But however, I think the other question which always comes is how I will earn money out of it, and how it's going to be, how this will benefit me in terms of moving through my job. And that is something which is always when maybe I want, since we have brought this up, I think that is something which I want to talk about at this juncture. Is what my understanding is, Deepak can just correct me if you have a different understanding you want to add, is that if there are two kind of finance professionals, one is maybe people who are finance graduates who are actually working in some organization, maybe they don't have a professional qualification like a CA or a ICWA or a CS, yeah, if they are working and they want to enter into this domain. If they learn this program, this program which we have, this course, so the way I look at it, after they have understood the science part of this program, so we always try to look at tell on two parts. So one is the science part of the program, where you talk about all the programming languages, right? Understand how it is used. So you learn the science part of the programming language. which will make you understand how Python works, how SQL query has to be written, and or how Tableau has to be worked out. And we have practical examples to you to learn, and it will take approximately, we have around 25 hours of video, and it will take you around 100 hours to get used to working in this environment. Yeah, so you get comfortable over a period of 3 to 4 months is what or 6 months, depending upon how much time you put.
Yeah, so that's what Bridge. So if you say, so we keep on telling students that 1 hour of learning every day is required. So if you take 3 months, you have 90 hours of learning every day, individual learning, and 25 hours here. So it's almost 110.
110 hours. Now the second part is, once I know how to, if again, since a lot of people are from finance background and they understand Excel or fine, if I learn how to use Excel, I write how to learn sum formula, average formula, right, etc., all the pivot table. But however, unless and until I work in a data structure, work in a business problem where I have worked where I have worked maybe 1 or 2 years in Excel in trying to do a lot of things, then I become in a way a very, I can use an Excel tool in an artistic way. I know what to choose, where, which one will work, etc., etc. I become very comfortable.
Correct.
And that can only happen when you start working.
Correct.
So that is the art form of anything. And market always value artists over scientists. In terms of, loosely I'm using the word, people who knows the tool, people will, for example, if there's a fresher who has learned data analytics, for example, R, Python, SQL, and if he goes to the market will, I think, give you a salary of around maybe 20 to 25,000 rupees, I think, depending on which city it is. But however, once you start using these tools, maybe once you reach to a level of where Deepak is right now, where he has over a period of 4 years, 5 years, he has learned everything and used all these tools, solved a lot of business problem, then your value increases to, I don't want to put a number because I maybe increases to around 4 to 5 lakh rupees or 6 lakh rupees, 7 lakh rupees a month. I'm just loosely using this number, to pardon me for that, but I'm just saying there's an exponential difference between you learning this tool as a science tool and an art form where you know how to play around with it. And market always value an art form, which means that market will always value data analysts who has got a little more experience. And I think that is an area where people, I wouldn't say struggle is the right word, but that is a challenge area for people in finance. And for fresher, it's a new field, so they can just start and join. But however, people who are experienced people, right, who are working maybe a salary of maybe 1 lakh or 60,000 or 1.5 lakh, to them, the only way to transition to this field is learn the tool and start finding avenues in their current profile, how they can use this tool to make their daily life far more richer than what they were doing earlier.
Correct.
And then once you start doing it, and automatically, I think once you understand how it is done, you will intuitively, you will be able to use these tools in your workplace and how it's going to work. And the second is, maybe in your company you have a data analytics department, and that would be a good ground to actually, rather than you saying now that please put me into a data analytics where it's my aspiration to do a very high value job, company will not do it. But however, if they know that you know something, you can add value, the switch will become very easy.
Correct.
Third, also, I think there are a lot of, what happens is, a lot of company who don't have a very big data analytics team, they appoint a coordinator kind of role where they coordinate with an external agency. Yeah. Correct. So that way also someone can enter into this field. But I think in order to do that, I think the first step would be to learn the basic tools and get ready for opportunities to come by.
Correct.
Rather than actually saying, if there is an opportunity, then I will learn. Then it will never happen.
Correct.
So I think, that was my take. Yeah.
Correct. So very well said, Bridge. So that's how we should, shape our career as well. Okay. So start small, and then over the period of time, you also will feel the difference how things are shaping. Okay. Now moving on to this, I'll skip for the time being. I'll move here. Now, in terms of popularity, how this two domain have basically span across the period of time. Now, you see, starting 2015, the data analysis was of prime importance, wherein people were they were looking at the historical data points and trying to understand the pattern hidden insights in their data, and the data science was way low here in 2015. And as you see, as the day progressed, the difference between these two started decreasing. That is predominantly because there is lot of research, there is lot of uh, uh, theories that are being developed in terms of machine learning algorithms, in terms of predictive analytics. Now, earlier, the amount of research and theory papers were not that great, but over the period of time, people have started contributing, and the data science domain has, cast up very efficiently. And in 2019, if you see somewhere around 2019, the data science has basically surpassed the data analysis area. Now, nowadays you have lot of tools with you who does basically 50 to 60% of your data analysis task. People have automated, created programs who do the data analysis task. So now the companies are more inclined towards, understanding what is the predictive power of their data, how accurately they are able to predict the data points that they have at hand. Okay. Now, say for example, HR in your team, HR department in your organization, they are more concerned about who is going to leave the organization in the future rather than who has already left, understanding their pattern. And that's where, data science and predictive analytics have grown exponentially. If you see the rise of data, compare the rise of data analysis and data science, the rise of data analysis is somewhat smooth, but when it comes to, data science, there is a sharp rise, and the difference now going forward, the difference between the two would basically increase. Okay. So having said that, uh, data analytics is not only about data analysis now. Okay, you need to understand the difference between data analytics and data analysis. So data analysis is understanding the past. Okay, understanding the past. But when I talk about data analytics, PICS, it includes both data analysis as well as data science. So whenever someone tells you about data analytics, that means it includes data analysis as well as data science. So data analytics is going to be a very major role, very major player going forward, and in that you have data science to be a bigger player. Wherein organization, they would, if you tell them that, I am able to predict this for your organization, I'm able to predict the sales for the next 3 months, I'm able to predict the attrition rate, I am able to predict the churn rate of the website visitors. Okay, that's where they value your contribution more. So you see, this is how, data science versus data analysis has shaped over the period of years. Next, I'll quickly take you through the job requirement. You see, I have put across a data analyst and the subsequent slide data scientist job description to give you a practical, flavor and taste of what is actually required and the responsibility. So when it comes to data analyst, the prime, responsibility, explore data sets to drive initiatives that will make you as a faster, friendlier, and more efficient company. Break down complicated data sets into easy to digest dashboards, that's visualization. Work with team managers, improvement within their department. Okay. Work alongside the existing team of data analysts to ensure company data driven. Communicate data insights to the drivers. So you see, whatever we have captured in here in terms of, communication and visualization and exploration is what we can practically see in the job requirement this year. Okay, so it's more about making insight, making visualization, and communication. Okay, so this is a brief job requirement when it comes to your data analysis, and this has been taken practically and on a real life data. When it comes to data scientist, you will develop machine learning and AI models, use variety of data sets to test hypothesis. Hypothesis is basically advanced statistical concepts. Design, develop, and test analytical models. Again, we are talking about model building, scientific model buildings. Use data visualization to engage audience. So see, So data scientist is a broad domain which automatically encompasses data analyst work somewhat. So if they have required data visualization to be one of the job requirement here, and contributes to the development of the organization and community. Okay, so you see, having gone through the skill set, having gone through the skill sets and gone through how the things are shaping, and giving you a practical case of the requirement of a data analyst, the basically the responsibility that you would be asked to perform, you have to choose between, you know, data analyst and data scientist. Now, how to choose that data between a data analyst and a data scientist? Okay, as I said, at the end I will give you 2-3 pointers which would basically you will be able to understand which is your favorite area and which is best suited for you. Now, if you are interested in basically deriving insights, identifying root cause analysis, creating visualization, okay, you should go for a data analyst. You should close your eyes, go for data analyst. If you are not a programming lover, you should go for data analyst. But programming lover, having said that, advanced programming lover. Even if you are a data analyst, you have to have a knowledge of Python and other programming languages. Okay, that is there. But when you want to create models, predictive models to predict the future, okay, when you want to create solutions which would basically be able to assist your organization in achieving the operational efficiency to a manifold, okay, you need to take data science task. Okay, if you love maths, if you love statistics, if you love research, okay, if you want to create hypothesis, okay, hypothesis in the sense, if this happens, what is the probability that this will happen? This sort of scenarios, if you love doing that, you should hands down, heads down, move towards data scientist task. So with this small basically keynote, I would like to end the session. And if any question, I would be more than happy to take that.
I think
So,
I'll read out the questions. I think, but
yeah.
before that, I think I just want to add one thing to what you said, Deepak, in the end. And also I think when we said that it's a science and an art story where you want to get a little more experience and you want to become more valuable, I just wanted to say that although our program is, so we have this program, our program is into two parts. One is the science part of all the tools where the video duration is around 24 hours. We provide you support. You have to invest around 120 hours to learn the science part. Second is where we give you a lot of live projects or we identify projects and you do those projects and we'll support you in terms of where you're getting stuck. So I think, so we expect that first 6 months or 4 to 5 months will go into programming languages, and next 6 to 7 months is going to be on working on these projects and which we'll identify for you. So total, I think we expect around someone will take around approximately 8 months to
yeah, 6 to 8 months to become a pro. Yeah, to become a pro in this field.
Yeah, so that is one. And yeah, I think so. I think I'll just read out the questions, Deepak, if you can reply to them. So one is so what is the salary difference between a data analyst and data scientist in terms of Indian currency? Although I know whenever it comes to salary, it's always difficult to generalize, but I think people always want to get some idea. Even a scale of 5 to 10, you can put it somewhere, then people understand that what is the scale we're talking about.
So when it comes to salary bridge, obviously the data science guy would have an upper hand here, because he's the one who is basically trying to predict the future and has got more skills compared to data analyst guy. So in terms of in Indian terms, I say US terms, or let me take a Indian term. So starting salary for a data science would be somewhere around 9 lakhs. Okay, 9 to 10 lakhs range. Okay. And when it comes to a data analyst guy, starting salary would be anywhere around 6 to 7 lakhs or 6 to 8 lakhs bracket. That again depends on your level of skills that you have put in.
Right. Also, I think I would like to just caveat it is that we are talking about on an average, but there are people, for example, there is someone who is maybe a leading or is in a client-facing role when it comes to data analytics. Okay, and he understands. He has worked over a year and migrated and has enlarged his understanding about data analysts and data scientists. Also, he can coordinate with the business, and his communication skills are good. That then he becomes extremely more valuable to the client where he is in a client-facing role. Then his salary would be exponentially maybe different from then what a data scientist will have. So although you try to generalize, but I think there are always a lot of gray matters between the end.
Correct. Correct.
Uh,
Correct.
Then I think which is more in market? That's what is someone is asking. Which is more in demand?
I will say both. I'll say both because you see, in our I guess last to last webinar that I have showed about World Economic Forum projection, the top emerging job says data scientist / data analyst. Okay, so with that you can understand which is demanded more. So both of them are in demand.
True.
Both of them are in demand.
Okay, then I think Diva, how did you transition from finance into a data analyst or data scientist role?
So finance, as I said, finance, we have been doing number crunching on Excel and various analytical tools, and that's where you need to have a love for data. Now, when you have data in front of me, automatically you should say, okay, with this data, with a click of a button or a blink of an eye, I can devise 10 different insights from these data points. Now, when you have that skill in you, when you have that basically the love for the data in you, automatically the transition becomes very easy. So the transition is more into learning the tools, basically, if I say. But if you are in love with the data, whether you are doing it in Excel or in any other programming language, that is immaterial. But if you have that love for the data, the transition becomes very smooth, and you have to devote time. As I said, 1 hour of learning every day is very much essential for you to become a pro in 3.5, 4 months, 5 months time span. So 1 hour of learning is very much important, and that learning can be anything. Hands-on coding on programming language every day, or learning some statistical concepts, new concepts. So that is very much necessary. And initially for 15-20 days, everything will go haywire. So there will be a time you'll not be able to understand anything, and you will think of giving it up. But try to understand, Excel was also new to us when we started our journey. Word was new to us when we started our journey. I started my computer learning with MS Paint. If I mean, if you guys will trust me, when I was in class 9, I started my first computer session when my father enrolled me in a computer academy in Kolkata. So they were teaching about MS Paint, MS Word, MS Excel. So that's where, whenever you start something new, that's tough for you, but you need to make your transition. You need to put your heads down, and even if you find any trouble, just keep on going. That's the only way out.
Then I think there's another very good important question, is that data analytics shall be used by large companies. Like he's given some examples of Google, Facebook, IBM, or any big companies which maintain a lot of data. But he's saying, how is it useful? Is it useful to a SME or medium and small scale enterprise?
So my brother-in-law company is not even qualifying for MSME, but he was forced to go online, and now he has to data analyst guy whom he is paying good amount of money. So apparently I told him that why not you enroll me and give that the salary of 2 people to me itself. Okay, so you can understand, you're talking about MSME. I'm talking about an organization, a retail outlet which is not even qualifying for MSME. So everything is going digital. Okay, and whenever anything going digital, you have lots and lots of data points being captured, and that's where the importance of data analysis would be there. So this Google, Facebook, IBM, they have lots and lots of data. Okay, they have lots and lots of data. But when it comes to MSME, obviously, 5 years, 7 years back, they were not that great in terms of IT infrastructure and everything. But slowly things have changed, and now they are well equipped to start capturing data. So even if it's MSME, or even if it's a very small outlet in Bada Bazaar of Kolkata, they have to have this analysis skill and usage of data analysts and data scientists.
Another question is saying that you both are CAs, and why you are trying to promote data analytics and data scientists? Why you are promoting, Deepak?
So I mean, that's a very good question.
I'll try to reply to them. I think the way, although we are CA, fine, and CA doesn't mean that CA has to restrict themselves only to Tally or GST. Yeah,
correct.
With the way we look at, there are a lot of opportunities coming up after digital. There is no second doubt that entire globe is going digital, and it's already gone digital, not gone digital, right?
Gone digital, yeah.
And there are a lot of areas which are coming in where people can actually catch on to, can look at an opportunity. Second, with digitalization, a lot of things which maybe earlier was a difficult thing. For example, earlier filing a income tax return or maybe a sales tax return reconciliation was a nightmare. You needed that. I remember when I was working in a company, Chauvalis, we have for MIS, we had 150 people who were doing all India MIS, right? And now I can expect maybe an organization will employ not more than 15 to 10 people, yeah, for an MIS. So the traditional role of chartered accountants are diminishing at a very significant pace. And I think also I can also connect to what Deepak you said in the last webinar, where
yes,
the World Economic Forum is saying one of the professionals
the
in
first
this
job,
most declining job was actually for accountants and related activities. And hence we cannot we have to find a new area where we can add values, and these are the areas which are coming up, which we have to be open towards. So
I mean, if we not change our attitude towards how the things are shaping, we'll surely become a dinosaur. Right. I mean, a lot of corporate sessions that I take, when I take the session, and after the session, I have so basically I give my introduction only at the end of the session. So when the introduction of mine comes on the PPT and they say that I'm a qualified chartered accountant, they get amazed, saying so I have been working in this data science domain and artificial. So it's not only data science domain that I work on, it's on artificial intelligence as well, because we have gone a step ahead. So if I tell that I'm into artificial intelligence, we build basically smart and intelligent system. We are actually building system which will basically mimic the counselor. So you have a physical counselor, school counselor, college counselor. We are creating a chatbot who would be intelligent enough to mimic the activities of a counselor. So if I say that, you'll say that I'm from a IT background, and why I've shifted from a CA to an IT kind of a background, or a computer science kind of a background, because that's where the world is heading towards. And if we don't mold ourselves, and if we be in traditional practice of return filing and GST filing and all those audit thing, surely we will be doomed. To put it straight as an arrow, we will be doomed.
Deepak, quickly, I think there are two or three questions. I'll just quickly read them. I think someone is saying that he has some 2 years of IT experience, and he has graduated he's done MBA in finance. He is business analyst or data, he wants to understand whether he should do a business analyst or data scientist.
I think both of them are same.
Start with I think data analyst. Yeah, business analyst is more encompasses Python, etc. So it's one step ahead of business analyst. Is Python and SQL knowledge important for upcoming accountants or auditor? No, Python and SQL are not accountant if you're restricted to your hardcore field of accountant. But however, said that paradigm is changing and there are a lot of avenues coming in.
Now,
So
Bridge, I will take this thing for the accountant and auditors. What they're doing for many CA firms. What they're doing is they're using this Python to scrape data from GST website, creating their own program to basically scrape the information from GST website, client website, and creating their own database and everything. Okay, so accountants and auditors have started using this Python. My friend has a CA firm here, so they deal with a company who has more than 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs row line items for a month. So they have been using this Python program to do the analysis. They are no more dependent on Excel because Excel has limitation.
Right. Next question is someone is asking what is Deepak's background. Deepak is a chartered accountant, but he is running a consultancy firm based out of Calcutta on data analytics. I am also a CA, but I run this organization called Meraskill, which is a training organization. Next, I think there are a lot of questions which are coming in. I think this is the last question because we're running out of time, Deepak. He's saying that right now I'm working as a receivable accountant for a US-based company. Am I eligible for doing data analysis? Yes, you are eligible. And I think anyone who is working for KPOs or for example, data account receivable or some kind of accounting work in an outside organization, the future I have seen, I've dealt with so many people who have spent close to 10 years into this role and then they get stuck. So because once you have spent 4 or 5 years into this role, then transition to any new role becomes very difficult. The only opportunity you will get in maybe either from Accenture to Capgemini and from Capgemini to maybe some other firm where you will be doing account receivable. So I think one of the risk of working with this kind of thing is that you get restricted if you do this work for a very long time. I think if you want to move to a more value-added work, then I think data analysis is something which is a very upcoming field. I think with Deepak, I know there are a few other questions, but I would not like to take it because we have, I think we are running out of time. Thank you, Deepak, for being for sharing everything, and it's always a pleasure listening to you because you always speak. We are very you don't filter your minds. You always speak what is there, and something which I really cherish about you, Deepak.
Thank you, Bridge.
Thank you, and have a wonderful month in, Deepak. Yeah.
Same to you, Bridge. Stay safe, all of you. Stay safe.
Thanks. Bye. Yeah.
Bye.